Hello, welcome back to my channel, Mel's Stampin' Gallery. I'm Melanie, your close to my heart maker. And for today's video, I wanted to show you how I made this fractured card. Now, these fractured cards, you might have seen, they are all over the internet and Pinterest right now. So I just had to make one, and I just really loved the papers and the stamp set in the Honey Bunny collection. So this is the Honey Bunny card making Stampin' Thin Cut set that I will be using, along with some of the darling little papers from this Honey Bunny collection. And I've already been using some of it, so some of it is cut down, but you see the darling little bunnies here. And I actually have a layout that I made using this Honey Bunny collection, and I have a video that I created for this layout. So I'll post that on a card right up here so you can take a look at that when you're finished with this video as well. So let's get this cleared off and we'll go ahead and get started with our card. So some of the supplies that you will need are, I've got a card base here and my front panel pieces. So I have my front panel piece is cut to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that will fit right on the front of the A2 card. And then the pattern paper, and you can choose, of course, any pattern paper that you like, but I cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4, so that when you put it on your card front, it leaves that border around there. And this is acorn, I believe, or it might be toffee. Forgive me, I don't really remember which one it is. I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, we've got those two pieces. And then to make the fracture, you need these strips that are just 1/4 of an inch wide. And the strips need to match your solid piece of cardstock that you're using for your base. And I'll show you why in just a second. All right, so those are the basic pieces that you need. And the other thing you need is some sort of a square for the front panel. Now this is a stitched rectangle die that I had in my stash, and that square measures about 2 by 2, maybe just a smidge bigger, maybe 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. So you will be putting that down on your piece of pattern paper. But first I wanted to do some stamping to that. So I'm going to bring in the stamp, the saying, "Thanks a bunch." And like I said, that comes from the stamp card making set, Honey Bunny. So we're going to stamp that on our white daisy piece of cardstock. Let's bring in our foam insert here so we can stamp on that. And I've got the intense black ink. And let's make sure that's inked up nice and juicy. Yep, that'll work out fine. And then I'm going to stamp kind of down toward the bottom of the diamond shape. Press and hold. All right, and that looks good. Then I also want to stamp the floral bouquet piece in that stamp set. So again, I'm going to ink that up with my intense black and stamp and make sure I've got a good impression on that. And I think I just had it overlapping on my Versamat there. Yeah, that looks better. All right, so we're going to make sure we stamp on our foam insert here. And we're just going to stamp and press down, make sure I get the middle pretty good. Lift up, and that looks nice. And then I also wanted the other floral sprig for that as well. So we'll stamp that again with our intense black. Okay, just bring in my stamp chamois and wipe those off before I put them away. And you will see some staining on your blocks from the black, but that's okay. it's not going to hurt it at all. It's not wet ink or anything. Okay, so I'm just cleaning those up, and then I'll put those away. Put my stamped chamois over to the side. And then what I wanted to do here, I'll show you kind of how I color those florals in. Just a quick tutorial here. So I want to start with the Glacier flower, and I'm using the Aqua Blue Blend Tri-Blend marker, and I'm going to start with the light. Now, everybody does their coloring different. Some start, you know, with dark to light. Some start with all the light, going from light to dark back to light, and that's what I'm going to do on this one. So I'm just going to color the petals in with the light color of the Tri-Blend marker, and like I said, that's the Aqua Blue Blend. Okay, and then I'm going to take the dark end, and I'm just going to kind of flick it up in the center of that flower. And then I'm going to take my light again, and this is where I'm going to color over the whole thing, kind of pushing that ink back to the center, and that gives it a nice blend. That's how you kind of blend it out. And when it dries, it'll look nice and blended. All right, so then I'm going to go ahead and do that with the green and the rest of the flowers, and I'll be right back. Those colored in, so I'm going to take my matching dies and die cut them out. And when I'm doing cutting like this around an image, and it has to be kind of precise, I do use a magnetic platform below on the bottom rather than the regular plexiglass platform, and I do use this magic mat from scrapbook.com, and I really like it. It really helps with all these detail images. Okay, so then let's put this die down. Let's turn it to make it match the right way, and that magnetic plate really helps to hold that in place. And I'll see if I can find one. This is an old one that I had in my stash, but I'm pretty sure Sizzix still makes them, so I can find that for you and link to it down below. Put our cutting plate on top and finish die cutting that out. All right, so I've brought in the all-purpose mat. I've got my piece of patterned cardstock. Now I'm going to take the square and adhere it down like a diamond, sort of in the center, or you can put it really anywhere you want. If you want to put it up closer to the top, you can do that. So you just want to make sure you have that adhered down. And then here's where the fractured part comes in. So make sure you've got the coordinating side of your cardstock, and you're just going to be lining these strips up, butt them up against that cardstock. And I like to take some liquid glue, and in this case I'm using my Barely Art glue. And I use the liquid so that if I need to finagle it around a little bit, I can do that before it dries in place. All right, so your first one goes up flush with the edge of that diamond piece, and it goes off the edge, and that's fine. That's what you want it to do. All right, so let's get some more glue on here on this one. And this is where the fractured part comes in. I'm going to line that up. It's almost like you're building a quilt, isn't it? If you're a quilter, you might think that's what you're doing. All right, so let's see, we've got that one there. And let's see, we're going to need another one over here. And the sizes, the length of these strips, I don't really know, just you want to make sure that you've got enough that it goes off the edge of your pattern paper, like so. And then let's do the last one here. And adhere that down. right, make sure that's all up there. All right, and then you're just going to take your microtip scissors and flip that over, oops, and cut off the excess. Like so. Now, you could stop here and just put this on your card front like that with just the one piece of pattern paper, but I like showcasing more of the different patterns because I think this paper is just so pretty. So you take scraps, and this is where I know people kind of don't like to do this because they think maybe it wastes paper a little bit, but let's see, I think it's okay. All right, let's see, let's try this one. We're just going to butt our desired piece of pattern paper up against those strips, and I'm going to put my glue on my pattern paper. All right, and then I can butt that up there. And the same thing, I'll be flipping it over and trimming off the excess. And then let's see if I can get a piece of pink here. Might have to trim it down a little bit. Okay, so let's see. I cut the leftover piece from down there. I cut that off. I could do the yellow, so it's both yellow, but I kind of liked the pink on the other side. Oh, that's the butterfly pattern. I think I want the pink. Let's see. All right, so I've got the pink, and I made sure I had a nice square edge so I can fit that in there. Let's get our glue and put some Barely Art glue here in the center. And the same thing that we did down there with the yellow paper. We're going to butt that up against those 1/4 inch strips. And then flip it over and cut off the excess. And this is why I put down my all-purpose mat. Because I got some sticky on the back. And then you're just going to trim off the excess. Like so. Right, and then we'll trim off this one. You could use your paper trimmer and cut it too so you get a nice square lines, but that works good enough for me. All right, so then we're going to put this to our card front. Get some more of our tape runner and adhere this to the card front. Okay, and that's where your fractured card comes in, because this looks like the back piece is popping through, where actually you've glued that onto the top. All right, so then let's take and put this on our card front that's been scored. Okay, and again, let's take some of our tape runner. The edges. And, oops, I didn't get that up very good. And let's get this to the card front here. Okay, and then we will take our clusters that we made here, and we're going to pop those up with a little bit of our 3D foam tape right here. I'm going to cut some of that with my non-stick scissors. And actually, before I put the foam tape down, I'm going to adhere this with the glue, with my Barely Art glue, and I'm going to let that come off the top a little bit right there, and then I can put the flower here. like so. You like that? All right, and then just to step it up just a little bit, I took some of these enamel dots from the Honey Bunny collection and put in the center of the flower. So let's take one of the glacier ones to match the glacier flower, like so. And then I took a little bit of my Nouveau Crystal Drops, and this is the color, what's it called? Ivory Seashell. And I just put a couple of little dots around that. And we'll put one down here, over here on the side. Okay, and there you have it. There's your fractured card. Now, wasn't that easy? That wasn't as hard as you thought it might be, was it? Okay, so there you go. I hope you'll give this a try. There's so many different variations of it. Like I said, if you wanted to stop with just the one pattern paper, or just add one in one corner, or do all three, anything you want to do, it's up to you. So anyway, thank you so much for coming by today. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to visit with me. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. So until next time, see you here on YouTube. Bye.